Hey guys, welcome to today's video. Hope you guys are doing well today. My name is Justin Owens. I am, putting the guitar down. If this is your first time to my YouTube channel or this video is your first experience here, my name is Justin Owens. I'm a worship leader, songwriter, filmmaker, and I do all those things all the time. Today I want to talk about taking a Sabbath. Creatives, worship leaders, musicians, all you people out there, take your dang Sabbath. It's very important. You need to take your Sabbath. What is the Sabbath? Let's look at the dictionary first, and then we'll look at the Bible. The dictionary says this: as a noun, Sabbath means a day of religious observance and abstinence from work, kept by Jews from Friday evening to Saturday evening, and by most Christians on Sunday. So maybe that falls in, that's one of you. There's another one here. It says, a supposed annual midnight meeting of witches with the devil. I don't know about that one. So what is the Sabbath? The Sabbath is a very important day of rest. God actually was the first person to take a Sabbath. Is that a word? Sabbathed. He Sabbathed. We're going to make up a word. It's Sabbathed. He took a Sabbath on the seventh day after he was done creating everything. He was like, I'm tired, I'm gonna rest. God probably wasn't actually really tired, but just as a representation of what he wanted you and me to do, because he knew who we would be and how we would be. He knew the importance and significance every week of having one day where we rested. Now, when is the Sabbath? Honestly, the Sabbath can really be any day, I don't think in today's culture the Sabbath has to be a particular day. Now, we worship on the Sabbath as Christians, Sunday mornings. Practically speaking, when you think about a Sabbath and it means to rest, you can rest any day. Whatever day you can do, rest. If you might work on Sundays. You might work on Sundays. You might have a. You might work on Sundays. You might. Good grief. Is that not the most countryest accent you've ever heard? You might work on Sundays. I've got some sinus issues, so please forgive me. Back to the video. You might have a job that you go into work on Sundays. You might be a pastor of a church or a worship leader. You're definitely not resting on Sunday. That's for certain. You got to find another day of the week where you can Sabbath, when you can just rest and do nothing. And I want to talk about this today too, because I had a meeting with one of my great friends, Hunter. Hunter, shout out to you for meeting with me that last Wednesday. He really talked about this, and he was very encouraging to me. As a 1 on the Enneagram, I'm a 1, I'm a reformer, and the definition of a 1 really lines up with my personality and who I am. I'm a perfectionist. I want the things that I care about to be perfect. I'm always looking to improve and change things. Nothing is ever good enough. This video is not going to be good enough. The music that I make is not going to be good enough. There's always going to be something that I'm going to look at critically and say, that could be better, that could be better, that could be better. And honestly, that applies to literally every aspect of my life that I care about or have a passion in. Now, I don't quite care about, making sure that my underwear in my underwear drawer is folded properly. I don't care about that. Put it in there, it's done, right? That's just not me. But there's a lot of other things I do care about that I'm like, this has to be a certain way or it needs to be better. I have the tendency of not resting. I have the tendency of going and going and going and going. I work a part-time job. I'm a worship leader. I make videos. I write songs. I want to put out music. There's just a world of things that I want to do and do right now. It's not something that can wait a year from now or 2 years from now. It's like all of the things have to be done right now, and I have to just do it the best of my ability. And you're on the road to burnout whenever you have that state of mentality and you don't rest. And Hunter told me Wednesday when I met with him for coffee, you are more than what you can produce. Your value and your worth does not come from how much you can create and how good those creative things can be. You matter so much more to people beyond those things. And there's so much truth to that because I put so much stock and weight in the things that I do. My self-worth is very connected with what I'm able to produce. And so I struggle with taking Sabbaths, with taking days where I just don't do anything, where I veg out. And that's kind of the way I have to Sabbath. I have to veg out. I have to just not do anything. Your Sabbath might look very different from mine. You know, your Sabbath might be, well, you may be a bit more of a relaxed person. You may be very structured in the things that you do. You go to work, you come home, you do this and that, and that's it. Whereas my Sabbath might be, I need to just sit down on the couch and not touch anything that would be remotely related to work. You might be a person that says, you know, I actually get joy and pleasure out of gardening. And so on Saturday, you have your day off, you go outside and you garden. That's your Sabbath. Sabbath doesn't necessarily mean don't do something physical. It just means don't work. Take time to rest and not do the things that you do 6 days of the week. And so that seventh day of the week, something restful for you might be to go out and garden. You love gardening. It's peaceful and restful for you. And at the end of the day, you're going to be sore and tired. That doesn't mean that you didn't take a Sabbath. You know, Sabbath doesn't mean that you have to not be physically tired at the end of the day. It just means that you need to do whatever brings you joy and rest. And that's going to be different for all of us. And Hunter also shared the scripture in Psalm 21, and I'll read it here real quick. Unless the Lord builds the house, those who build it labor in vain. Unless the Lord watches over the city, the watchman stays awake in vain. It is in vain that you rise up early and go late to rest, eating the bread of anxious toil, for he gives to his beloved sleep. That resonated with me Wednesday very much so, because I was feeling very tired, I was starting to get some sinus congestion, which you're hearing right now. I was getting sick because what happens is your body, we're so terrible at this in our culture today. We push ourselves to the max because that's what is kind of expected of us. It's expected that we push to the max to give our best and then some. And I've been in environments just like that, different seasons of my life. And what happens is you don't have opportunities to rest, and so you just get burned out. And that affects you physically, that affects you mentally and spiritually. It affects the relationships around you. There's tension and conflict between those relationships, and it's just not good. It's not healthy in the long term or in the long run. And the way that we alleviate that and give our bodies rest is to take that Sabbath, because you're going to hit that threshold. And Dr. Matt, the guy I work for, talks about all the time, like, take time out of the week to just decompress and rest, because what's going to happen is it's going to catch up to you. Your body has a ceiling, and you're going to push your body to the max that eventually it's going to force you to take that rest day. And so instead of it being a day where you're doing what you want, you're laying in bed because you're sick, because your immune system is shut down and you're not able to take care of yourself, and your body's not able to manage the stress that you've put on it by working 7 days a week, 60 plus hours that week. It's just not good. And God didn't intend for us to do that. And that's what that scripture says in Psalm 21, that Hunter put it in these words, that God can do more through you and with you in 6 days than you can do on your own in 7. And that's typically what we do. We do everything that we can do, as much as we can do it, as many days as we can do it. That's just not how God intended it. And I'm trying to be more conscious of that and be more strategic in having a day of rest during the week, whether that's a Saturday or a Friday or a half day on Tuesday or whatever I've got to do, because your weeks are going to look different. You're different from me. My week looks, it fluctuates. Some Sundays I work because I'm leading worship and I'm doing that, and then some Sundays I'm not. And so, like, I have to find those days of the week where I can rest. And it doesn't matter what day it is, honestly. It's just important that you take that seventh day, even if it's a half day, and just rest. Just do whatever brings you joy, peace, and calmness in your spirit, and sometimes even physically. Yeah, and I really love verse 2 at the very end. It says, "For he gives to his beloved sleep." It's like, we're meant to rest. We are meant to sleep. We are not meant to be machines and just go. And you've got to do what works best for you. I want to thank Hunter for meeting with me and encouraging me. If you're watching this video, Hunter, you are awesome. And I hope that this was encouraging to you and a bit of a motivation for you to take your Sabbath. Whether you're, if you're a worship leader watching this, you know you need it. Musicians, artists, creatives, you know you need it because you're working those part-time jobs. Single parents, you're working those part-time jobs. You're trying to raise these kids. Doctors, and teachers, you guys, you got to take your Sabbath. You got to figure out when it is, and you got to figure out what's restful and peaceful for you. And don't forget to dive into Scripture those days. Those are the days that you need time spending in prayer and reading the Scripture too. And I'm terrible at that, honestly. But anyways, thanks for watching this video. I hope this was very helpful for you guys. If you enjoyed it, please comment below. Let me know when your Sabbath is. Let me know when, how do you Sabbath? Do you go mountain biking? Do you go kayaking? Do you go for a run or a walk? Do you sleep all day? Take some NyQuil and just, you're out. If you want to see more, I encourage you to subscribe. There's going to be more just like this. I want to help you as a worship leader or an artist and creative, be equipped to do what it is you're called to do to the best of your ability. And today, one of those things is to take a Sabbath. And all right, so we'll see you in the next video.